Greetings, I'm Eric Davis, Director of Charleston County Greenbelt Program, which is funded through a portion of the County Transportation Sales Tax. Thanks for your interest in learning more about our program. The overarching goal of the Greenbelt Program is to form a system of protected lands that serve residents, visitors, and future generations by preserving and improving health and quality of life for all. The Comprehensive Greenbelt Plan, adopted by County Council in 2006, is the basis for the program policies and procedures. The plan defines 6 different types of Greenbelt lands prioritized by the public. Passive green spaces like parks with trails, picnic areas, and interpretive parks. Natural resources like upland forests, wetlands, and riparian areas. Heritage landscapes like historic and cultural sites. Productive landscapes, like lands used for agriculture and farmland. Natural infrastructure, such as tidal marshes that reduce hurricane storm surge damage. Active green spaces, like athletic fields and more developed parks. And lastly, corridors that preserve tree canopies and buffers along roadways and waterways, and also safely connect pedestrians and cyclists to Greenbelt hubs. The Greenbelt Program offers 2 pathways to protect land in Charleston County: fee simple acquisition and conservation easements. It is important to note here that the county does not purchase land or conservation easements directly. Through the Greenbelt Program, the county awards grant funding to applicant organizations to pursue one of these 2 pathways to protection. Furthermore, it is the applicant's responsibility to identify the target property and willing seller and to negotiate the transaction. Now let's look more closely at the 2 ways the Greenbelt Program protects land in Charleston County. A fee simple acquisition transfers full ownership of the property, including the underlying title, to the eligible Greenbelt applicant. Most approved fee simple Greenbelt projects include a public access component. Once acquired, a Greenbelt agreement is recorded with the new deed that states the funding award terms, including the allowable uses of the property. Municipalities, government agencies, and nonprofit organizations are eligible applicants for fee simple Greenbelt funding. A conservation easement is different in that the landowner retains title to the property and may remain on it, but typically sells most of his or her rights to develop the land. Under this scenario, the property owner is paid for a portion of the value of the development rights given up. The conservation easement is a legal document that is then recorded and attached to the deed, perpetually restricting use of the land, no matter the owner. Public access is generally not included in conservation easement projects. Only accredited land trust organizations may apply for conservation easement funding. If you are a property owner interested in a conservation easement, please contact us and we'll put you in touch with the local land trust. Funding for minor improvements that provide low-impact public access to Greenbelt properties is available as part of a fee simple acquisition application. Such minor improvements include and are limited to boardwalks, footbridges, unpaved trails, unpaved roadways, and small unpaved parking areas. Now, I will explain the step-by-step process for how an idea becomes a Greenbelt funded and Greenbelt protected property. The first step is for a potential applicant to submit a notice of intent. This 1-page form, which is available on our website, gathers very basic information to ensure both the applicant and project are eligible for Greenbelt funding. A follow-up pre-application meeting or phone call may be required to obtain additional information and to ensure the applicant understands the requirements of the program. While notices of intent may be submitted anytime, applications may only be submitted during an open application cycle. Once the applicant and project are deemed eligible and a cycle opens, the applicant will then receive access to the online application. All applications must be submitted prior to the cycle deadline. Submitting your application early will allow staff to review and reopen your application for any necessary edits you may wish to make. Next, staff reviews each application visits each site, and scores each project based on the scoring criteria outlined in the application. Staff then sends the scoring recommendation to a subcommittee of the Greenbelt Advisory Board, which also scores them and meets to consider the merits of the projects. This subcommittee votes on a recommendation to the full board to either deny, approve, or defer each project. The Greenbelt Advisory Board then considers the subcommittee recommendations and by majority vote makes its final project recommendations to County Council. As the name suggests, the board acts in an advisory capacity only. County Council considers the board recommendations and makes all final decisions regarding grant awards. Once projects are awarded, Greenbelt staff works with applicants as they navigate the due diligence process. An appraisal, boundary plat, environmental assessment, title insurance policy, draft deed, nonprofit documentation, and grant agreement execution represent some of those requirements. After all of these requirements are met, staff will notify the eligible Greenbelt Fund recipient that closing may be scheduled and will arrange a wire transfer to the closing attorney for the county's portion of the acquisition. Following closing, the property is now part of the Charleston County Greenbelt system, and as required by ordinance, staff will monitor the site at least once a year to ensure it remains in compliance with the grant agreement or conservation easement terms. Thank you for your interest in the Charleston County Greenbelt program and for taking the time to watch this video. Please visit our website for more comprehensive information or contact us to schedule a meeting to learn more about our program.